And now with a bit of luck, the share screen will work. If I can find the right one, there we are. How's that?
Look at you, Lee.
Yeah.
Can you see the screen, see Peter's screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Excellent. Very good. All right. Well, again, welcome everybody and thank you very much. And Peter, all yours. You tell me when you need to flick to the next slide and I'll do it.
Well, I'd flick to the next slide, Lee.
Right. Okay.
I took this photo on Monday in a retail nursery. I won't name the nursery.
Go on, be brave.
It's a Melbourne retailer, Lee.
Oh, okay.
You might want them to bring them into the fold.
Might be trying to sell lots of ceilings, thinking they're the only one within here. Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
So I thought I would talk about, because I had an opportunity to actually talk to people about our experience of the past 9 months or so, particularly since Oasis made their announcement that they were not going to supply the independent sector anyone. And basically, our version of the story is when we got that information, we scrambled to adjust our planning. And of course, the first question is, well, how big a hole have they left in the market? And we really did feel like we were standing at the edge of a hole, looking down into it and saying, how big's this hole? I don't know. So we took a few guesses. We threw some extra seed into plugs through June and July. September was a crazy scramble because the weather was really good. The season started off early and strongly. And we settled into a routine in October to such an extent that by the end of October, we thought, oh, that was easy. With hindsight, October was a poor month. And ever since then, we really have been struggling to catch up because we just haven't known exactly how much to grow. It's not an issue so much of we don't have the capacity. We're fairly comfortable. We've got the capacity to grow more product. It's growing too much of it and we start throwing it out. Well, that's just going to kill us. So it's been a whole exercise and just guessing at how much to grow. We feel like in the last 3 weeks, we've started to settle on it a bit. Flower seedlings we're still short of, primarily because of the longer growing times involved. We've got to grow a plug and then transplant that and grow it on. And our plug sowing for flower seedlings is past its peak of the autumn already. But the veggies, a lot of that stuff's still direct seeded and we can turn those around pretty quickly. So we've been able to adapt pretty much there. So to all those that have been missing out on stock, we do apologise. We've been going as hard as we can, but we've been taking some care too, and that's probably the primary reason we've been short. That was my thing on seedlings. I wasn't necessarily going to talk about anything new or different because I don't think there's a great deal that is new or different about seedlings. It really is a matter of providing the product where it's required and when it's required. Unless anybody's got any questions.
Yeah, I was just going to say questions welcome, Peter, before we move to the next slide. So don't be shy. If you've got any questions, now's the time.
Only silence.
It's always the first one has to break the ice. So I'll just say one other thing. For those who don't know Lisa, if you can see Lisa's screen on your screen, Lisa is the person helping me now with marketing and PR, especially the one tree per child. She will hopefully catch up with most of you at some stage if she hasn't already. So again, welcome, Peter. Next slide.
Yes, next slide. Another photo from this week. This is at Garden World.
You picked that one.
Anybody will be able to pick that, I think.
Yep.
And it's their Lunar New Year display.
Right.
And my question to retail nurseries in Australia is, why aren't you taking advantage of this opportunity? So that display has been pretty well stripped over the weekend, bearing in mind we had a blazingly hot day on Sunday. And the amount of stock that and I think I'm fairly safe to say Plantex selling in marigolds for New Year is now quite extraordinary, but it's not going through the regular retail channels.
Right. Where's it going?
Temples, churches.
Right. Okay.
People selling at markets, florists, but all of these people have access to and knowledge of Asian communities broadly. Would you agree with that, James?
Yep, totally agree with it. Yep, totally agree. There was a small percentage going to retailers, but yeah, definitely the Asian community for sure.
Yeah. And it's enormous.
It is. It's bigger each year. It's bigger each year.
Yeah, it's a good point, Peter. We do miss out on these things. There's a lot of Chinese around Glen Iris where we are, and they're pretty keen gardens, a lot of them. And some, I might add some of them aren't, but a lot of them never stop working, so haven't got time, but they do love their Lunar New Year, I think. So a good point. We're missing out on opportunity if we're not doing something.
Yeah, so I thought I'd throw that one in there. Yeah, any questions?
Does anyone else on here do a display for Lunar New Year?
Here at Van Loons, we're quite an Anglo population, so no, we don't. And we don't even do Valentine's Day either, really.
We've got a small display of indoor plants like Lucky Bamboo and the Dragon's Tail. But yeah, I think in the last couple of years, I might have had one family that came in and bought everything red. I think that was before COVID, and we haven't sort of had a huge demand for it. But we're also the same with Valentine's Day, because there's a florist down the road and people don't tend to think of plants. We do normally have stuff for people, but it's not a big thing for us here.
Yeah, we don't chase Valentine's. That's all about red roses. It's no great value to us at all. So yeah, on that display, it's mostly celosia and marigold. And it's those bright reds, bright yellows and oranges that they're looking for.
Yeah. Anyway, certainly a good point, Peter, because a lot of these days, I mean, it will depend largely on your area for that sort of thing,
Of course.
would say. And if you know you've got that sort of population, I forget, I think it might have been Marie at the Garden Feast who was telling me that some months ago last year, a huge Italian and Greek population and Asian population in her area, and she's had to change dramatically the various plants and everything else she's selling. And you've just got to cater for your customer. So the whole thing. Okay, next slide then, Peter.
Yep, next slide. I've done anything that I think was particularly interesting. I'm just having a look forward into what's coming through. So our cyclamen 200ml pots are at this stage. So again, I've taken the photos this week. We're just probably starting to let them flower now. We've been stripping the flowers just to get the size and shape into the plants. And we'll start to let them flower naturally from now on. I think the only other thing to comment about them fairly obviously from those photos is we've got them outside under shade this time of year. We will move them under heavier protection just to tone them up as we get into cooler weather.
Is there a question there from somebody?
So this still Scotsburn?
What pot are they in, Peter? Is that a squat 7 or squat 8 or something?
A squat 8.
Squat 8, okay.
So we do squat 8s and we do squat 125s. Next slide, Lee.
Right.
So just a sample of stock as it is in the nursery at the moment. They've started selling quite solidly early in the season. Numbers are looking good already. I'm interested if anybody has any feedback on Boomeroo getting out of the market with the smaller cyclamen.
We don't buy them from them. We buy them from you or is it Bullens?
Bullens still owns the market from our perspective, which is kind of frustrating, but we learn to live with it.
We like yours because the pot's slightly bigger.
Okay.
And so it's a good gift item for people.
The Bullen's been sold. They were up for sale, weren't they? Or am I wrong there?
No, they were sold. In
They
fact,
were sold.
I think they may now be known as Tim Boone Nursery. And somebody correct me there. And apparently the transition's been really solid. That the guy that's taken it over is doing it really well.
Yeah, I'd agree. They've been really good. And Sherilyn was mentoring them for 12 months. So I think she did a really good job.
Yeah, well, cyclamen really are an amazing plant. How do they go up in your area, Russell? You're pretty warm, but I imagine you still heaps of them.
Yeah, look, we have a little bit of trouble with the early ones, getting a bit of fungus in them, but once it cools down a bit, not a problem. Not a problem through winter and that.
Russell's in the Grampians, Ararat, for anybody who's wondering, but I just think, you look at them over the years and they've just improved so dramatically. They're almost impossible to kill unless you do something badly wrong, I think.
The breeding's pretty good. It's simplified the growing up a lot.
Right. Excellent. Any questions on cyclamen? No?
No. These aren't fresh photos, but they are from our nursery. And I just thought I'd comment on the big white geranium, and then I've got a big salmon there, I think it is. And so a whole lot of fresh genetic material has come into Australia in the past 12 months from Syngenta, who produced the big series stock. And the white is an absolute beauty. It's a really good growth habit, like the big red, very similar to the big red. It's a nice, clean white flower. You can tell from that photo there in 300s. Get plenty of buds. That salmon's a really nice colour too. There are a couple of other colours. A big splash type in a different, I think it's big rose splash or something. And there's a purple. You're starting to get into sort of shades of stuff with the purple, but it's a really nice colour. But you do get to the point of how many shades of purple, pink and mauve can you have. There's also a little bit of stuff we've got in just to trial it. So there's a series called Big Easy. And basically it's Doom and Orange's breeding of a very, very similar product to the Calliope series, which is the big series from Syngenta. We haven't seen any particular new colours. If there were new colours, then we'd grow some more, but if they're just copying the stuff that's already out there, we've chosen to stay with the original stuff.
What's the availability of the white like, Peter, apart from big pots? Do you have other? I know Russell been talking to him for about 12 months on that from what is Syngenta, isn't he?
Yes.
Yes. And he was very concerned about having quantities available. So what's the stock situation for those for the next 6 months or so?
For the next 6 months or so should be fine.
Right.
We've got good stock in production and on the ground at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of trouble with availability of tube stock through last year. all to do with Propagation Australia closing their business but keeping the mother stock and then having transitioned the mother stock to a new nursery, and it got out of hand and there was no stock available to pretty much anyone. And that's also affected hibiscus, a few other things, Alströmerias, I think, off the top of my head. So yeah, there's been a few hiccups, but they seem to have gotten their feet under themselves now, and that's all flowing through the way it should.
Excellent. Very good. Any questions there on that? I mean, I know Russell reckons that's the best geranium ever. The white one reckons better than the red, and that's sold like hotcakes, as I understand it. So pretty big call.
Personally, the burgundy's the best one, but
Right. Okay.
colours so similar to the red. Most people stick with big red.
Okay. All right, I think there's one more slide, isn't there, Peter?
Couple.
Okay.
Just Agaranthemum daisies. So they're coming. We're about to pot those, the first of those for this season. And it's another one of these products that just the volume is extraordinary that we're going through. The autumn season is nice and solid, but not outrageous. But the spring production is quite exceptional. And what have I got there? I've got Sassy Medium Double Yellow, not the best marketing we've ever done, and Pom Pom is the pinky red colour.
They're mainly in 200s or
for us 200s, yeah.
right.
Does anybody
Okay.
want bigger? Happy to grow some bigger ones.
We'd be interested in some bigger ones and the big 300 mil geraniums as well.
Yeah, we did a few as we were trialling those new colours last year, Michelle, and they went really well. So we've certainly had some discussions about doing more for spring. So we'll have a look at the daisies as well.
Yeah, just like we'd probably get them as more a feature, but then when we say that, they're the ones that go first. So yeah, we'd be interested in them in 300s.
Okay. Couple more though. Stock standard old-fashioned adiantum maidenhair ferns. I had Tony Alsop in mind when I took these photos, just to say yes, we've got them. They're coming through. They're not too fabulous size yet. If you look really closely at the bigger of the two pictures, they got a bit scorched over the weekend, but we didn't get any significant burning, so they're tracking well, and there's a batch following that up. So we should have maidenhairs from beginning of March through the winter. And the next one.
What pot are they in, Peter?
200 Scots.
200
Scots.
Okay.
They look like they're standards. They might be in standards, Lee.
Yeah, they look fairly tall.
Yeah.
And it's the nice, what I call the hardy variety, the nice coarser leaf, and much better than the very fine one, certainly for my money.
Right, okay. Two products that I thought I'd put on there and just say who knew. So Maria curry leaf on the left side. We raised some seed for a local retailer, only very small business. And then we've grown them on and put them on the availability list this weekend. Availability melted down. And the other one's catgrass. And we're still trying to work out how big the market is for catgrass in Melbourne. We keep going through them.
So you sell them in those boxes?
Sell them in those boxes and punnets and 200 mil squats.
Right. Now, I don't know Maria curry leaf. Everybody else will, I'm sure. Is it an actual edible thing, or what do you do with it? Or it's a Maria flowering one?
No, it's the leaves are used in Asian cooking.
Right.
but beyond that, I don't know a great deal about it. But other than it's remarkably popular.
Okay. Anybody
But-
else give us a bit more information on Maria curry leaf? Sure, there'll be somebody. No?
I
God,
don't know much about it, but everyone wants it.
you better find a bit more about it then, Michelle.
I
Everyone wants it.
know.
You better hop onto Google.
Yeah.
Google her up.
They'll have all the information there, I'm sure. Okay, how tough is it, Peter? Do you know that? Is it
It's one of these tropical type plants that really doesn't enjoy growing in Melbourne. So we
Right.
sowed the seed in the autumn last year.
Mhm.
Last year, then we had to overwinter them, and then they got motoring from October onwards.
right?
Really,
The important thing is that the leaves are edible, but not the berries. The berries are quite toxic.
oh right.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Sarah.
No problems.
We'll note that one.
You put that on the label, Peter.
Yes.
I won't get one. My dog will eat the berries at the end of him. He eats everything else. So, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else got any questions on those? No. They're
No.
very quiet lot today, Peter. It's February. You know, it's pretty quiet, but they don't. People are allowed to talk, aren't they? Questions,
Well,
please?
I've run out of stuff, so they were the few things that I walked around the nursery and saw or had been playing on my mind of late.
So, but actual seedling display as such, you geared up, it's all ready, autumn will be fine as far as you're concerned. I know you've always got to, you know, do I got to have too much? Do I have enough? It's always for seedling growers. I mean, I'd hate to be a seedling grower of all growers, I'd have to say. You know, I've seen some of the waste at times. My God, how do you make any money? But you've just got to try and get it right more often than not, don't you? You reckon you're okay for autumn?
That's the essence of it. We'll be short on flower seedlings for autumn.
Right.
I'm
Okay.
saying that up front. I know that's fact because we just didn't. We've got to plan the plug production nearly 12 months in advance,
Right.
and that's all. That's in and done. There's nothing much we can do about it now.
Okay.
But the veggies, as I say, we can direct seed that, so we adjust that every week.
Right.
Sometimes successfully and sometimes disastrously.
Well, maybe we should ask James how he's going with flower seedlings for autumn, seeing as he's listening in.
Yes, I'm listening in. Thank you. No, we've got full production going at the moment. Pansies are probably maybe next week in the potted colour range, the 4-inch, but they'll be small. Definitely the week after they'll be there. But we've probably gone off last year's sales, so I haven't really put any extra down. We're just sort of continuing the same sort of volume again. So yeah, we'll wait and see what happens with the weather. It's always tricky this time of year, especially after last weekend where everything blew too quickly. So we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see.
Okay, Peter.
James, can I toss you another one then?
Yep.
Since you're talking potted colour.
Yep.
Good old fashioned pansies, petunias. I'll throw in vincas.
Vincas. Yep.
How are you finding them?
Probably they're going all right. The 8-inch have slowed up a fair bit. I think the price range is it's getting a bit up there now. The 4-inch is sort of ticking over still quite steadily. We probably do up to 40,000 of those a month. The 8-inch we were doing probably nearly 10,000, but we've really cut that in half now. So we're under about 5,000 eighths now a month in your petunias, vincas, marigolds, salvias. But we've noticed petunias have really dropped off. The first couple of batches they go for, after that, forget it. They don't want it. They want to go switch over to vincas, something like that. And you can't sell the old-fashioned impatiens anymore either. We don't even grow them now. It's just not worth it with the disease we're getting. You can spray them, but you sell them to the retailers, and then their customers buy them. They get the disease, they die the next week, and it's just a headache. So we don't even worry about those normal impatiens anymore. No, but yeah, they're definitely. You can sell it. Vinca can take semi-shade as well. We grow vincas in the semi-shade and in the full sun, and they do look like an impatient. But yeah, definitely petunias. The first couple of batches, yep, good. After that, no, they just do very, very small ones. Like you might put down 200 pots. Well, we might only put down 50 pots now, and put the other half of the train or 4-inch or something like that. You know what I mean?
We'd find exactly the same.
Did you? Yeah,
Pansies and petunias.
Yeah, there you go.
There's a whole lot of demand at the start, and then it just
Yeah.
fades away.
Fades away, and it's like the pansies as well.
Yeah.
It's a big demand for them early, and then they sort of fade away, and then they come back again. September, which is when they're looking perfect, and October for the violas. They look magnificent. They go right up to Christmas if the weather's cool. But then again, no, they want to switch over and get in the petunias. So
Okay,
it's hard to do it,
very good.
as you know.
All right, any questions for James or Peter? No? Okay. For those who can see Lisa on the screen, I did say earlier, I'm not sure if you're all here, but Lisa is now helping me at GCA with marketing and PR, and particularly One Tree Per Child. Not too sure how many of you actually read the e-news that goes out weekly, but if you do, you would have seen information on that. I might ask Lisa, if I may, I'm going to throw her in the deep end here, just to spend 30 seconds talking briefly about One Tree Per Child. We've still got a way to go. We've got some quite exciting offers that are just being finalised, but at least you got a chance. I mean, you'll catch up with most of these people. Lisa's coming to the gig function in a few weeks. Those who haven't replied, who are coming, please do so. Lisa will be there to meet you. But Lisa, you just want to say a few quick words on One Tree Per Child? I know we've still got a bit of planning to go, but
absolutely. Well, just sort of following on what Peter was saying about, theming and such with Luna, One Tree Per Child, I think is going to be a wonderful campaign, and an ongoing campaign for garden centres to try and, engage, the little green thumbs, and get the next generation of green thumbs coming through, to promote it as a fun family activity. So with One Tree Per Child, in the past, it's been a planting activity that's been done through schools and councils, but now getting grandparents, my love of gardening came from my grandparents. My nan was all about planting petunias and snapdragons and all those sorts of things, and my grandfather was right into the veggie garden, but trying to get, the grandparents to try and instill a love of nature and a connection with gardening and the fun activity that it can be, through garden centres, and it not just being a one-off purchase of a tree or a plant, that we try and encourage it as an activity that they're coming back to care and tend, for that. It could be the Morea curry leaf tree, or it could be, whatever the case may be. It might be an indoor plant, depending on their situation, but teaching them how to care and tend for that plant, to fertilise it, to treat it against pests, all those things, coming back into the garden centre on a regular basis, and making, encouraging and promoting gardening as a fun family activity that we want to try and help to continue to increase that foot traffic into your garden centre.
great, thank you, Lisa. Lisa will catch up with all of you at some stage, and she's added quite a new look to the various documents that we're putting out. We'll have a full, or a bit more than a full page in the MIFCUS Nursery and Garden Industry magazine, handed out at the Flower and Garden Show, and it officially kicks off early June, so it's got a way to go yet, but
Yes.
we're still hoping that, if you read the information, that Jimmy and Jane Barnes, I don't know how many of you, I'm sure you all know of them, mad, crazy singer, I'd call him, but anyway, it's not exactly my music scene, but he's an entertainer. But they love their garden, they love their cooking, they love their family. And if he's okay, he has recently had open heart surgery, but he looks pretty good on his Facebook post.
Yes.
So he has offered to be an ambassador, depending on his health. So we'd be keen to have that happening in the nursery and garden industry, with the usual luminaries involved as well, such as Costa and Graham Ross and these people. But Jimmy Barnes will add another element to that, so we're looking forward to that. So look, thank you everybody, but welcome to ask any more questions. Otherwise, I'll actually stop the sharing, Peter, and then I think I can stop recording in a minute. But last chance for questions, anybody. Thank you, Lisa, for that. You covered that beautifully.
Thank you.
No?
Not related to this call, but does anyone know if the entries to the MIFCUS hanging basket has finished, or is it too late to enter that?
I don't know IMG as I understand it. Peter, you used to be involved with it, didn't you? I think IMG are now handling it. The RHSV aren't any longer, Peter. Am I right saying that?
You are absolutely correct. So I've
Yeah.
no idea what
No. You could probably ask anybody from the NGIB, but IMG are handling it. I mean,
Okay.
I'm getting an email from IMG every couple of days, I think, regarding MIFCAS, but I don't know who you would speak to, but NGIB will know. So I'd suggest you ring and check with them.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? No? Well, thank you all. Really appreciate that. I'm going to stop this recording somewhere.